Good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming out on this beautiful Tuesday, almost spring day. As written notice of this meeting of the Lawrence Township being held on Tuesday, March 18, 2025, has been provided through the posting of the annual meeting schedule of said council in accordance with Section 13 of the Open Public Meetings Act. Said notice was forwarded to the Trentonian, the Times, and the Princeton Packet on December 19, 2024. And in light of Women's History Month, I'd like to read one of Councilwoman Perry and myself's favorite quote from Maya Angelou. And it says, "People will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." Maya Angelou. And with that, we'll have our inspiration, Madam Clerk.
May we carry out our work in this meeting in a just, honorable, and sincere manner, always bearing in mind our duties and continue to keep Lawrence a wonderful community in which to live. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If we could have the roll call, please.
Mr. Bobbitt.
Here.
Mr. Kanaki.
Here.
Ms. Perry.
Here.
Mr. Ryan.
Here.
Mayor Farmer.
Here. With that, this brings us now, excuse me, to a special presentation. We will have a presentation from the Mayor's Task Force regarding an update on the Lawrence Community Center. And Dr. Chris Woolley will be presenting on behalf of the committee of the task force.
Hello. Thank you, Mayor Mr. Farmer and Township Council for allowing me to speak. My name is Chris Woolley. I'm speaking on behalf of the Mayor's Task Force created by Township Council to gather community input on the use in the future of the Lawrence Community Center, otherwise known as Lawrence Township Council Resolution number 346-24. My purpose this evening is to bring the council up to date on the progress made by the task force. As the resolution states, the community center was originally initiated by the Lawrence Township community, and since then has played a vital role in fostering unity, addressing economic challenges, and promoting inclusive development within the Township of Lawrence. In the past, the community center has provided shelter, food, clothing, and other services for family in need. Township Council created the task force to advise council of the concerns of residents of Lawrence Township, address the mission statement and future vision of the center, engage the community, ensuring decisions made reflect the overall needs of Lawrence Township and the community, and preserve the center's legacy for all residents of Lawrence Township. Since the adoption of the resolution, our task force has met on multiple occasions to brainstorm community engagement strategies to accomplish the goals set by council. We reviewed history and the governance of the center and develop a plan for inclusive community outreach. A critical part of our efforts is ensuring that all voices are heard, and we are committed to engaging residents and stakeholders across Lawrence Township. To that end, we are organizing a community meeting tentatively set for May 13th, 2025 at a location to be determined. This event will provide residents with an opportunity to share their thoughts, concerns, ideas regarding how the center can best serve the community moving forward. The speaker will provide a history of the facility at 6:30 and before this group discussion begins around 7. In addition to this meeting, we'll be distributing a community survey to collect both qualitative and quantitative data on preferred uses for the center. We'll utilize a variety of communication channels, including school and township outreach, email lists, printed materials to maximize awareness and participation. Our outreach strategy includes engaging key community organizations. We'll be including, not exclusive of, but including local schools, civic groups, faith-based institutions, social service providers to ensure broad representation. We're also gathering data on current center usage and recreation department data to better understand existing programs in the community and the community's needs. Following these engagement efforts, the task force will analyze the survey responses and community meeting feedback, draft a report outlining residents' concerns and priorities, propose a mission statement and future vision for the center, develop recommendations that reflect community input while preserving the center's legacy, and establish a timeline for follow-up with council. We appreciate council's continued and support and look forward to sharing community's insights and recommendations in the coming months. In the meantime, we encourage all council members to attend the May 13th community meeting and help us spread the word to ensure broad participation. I want to thank you all for the time and commitment to this important initiative. We look forward to working together to ensure Lawrence Community Center remains a vibrant and valuable resource for all residents. Respectfully submitted, Fiscally Chair Martha Friend, and Task Force members Olga Martinez, David Spalding, Jeffrey Vamos, Heather Berman, Louisa Robinson, and Nancy. So that's the update, and we will be happy to continue to come to council meetings and give you updates as things progress and survey data comes in. And we're following this council meeting. We plan to begin our email outreach tomorrow. So each of you should be getting an email. I'm asking all residents to please reply, give any suggestions you may have on the use of the center, and then forward that email on to friends so that everybody knows what's going on. So if there are any questions, I'll be happy to try to respond.
Thank you very much, Dr. Willie.
Thank you.
Are there any questions in the council or comments?
Okay. All right.
Seeing none, thank
If
you
you
so
have
much.
questions later, I'll be here.
Okay, have a great evening. With that, we now have the first opportunity for public participation. It's a 5-minute limit. We just ask that you come to the podium and state your name and address.
Good evening, thank you. My name is Tom Ritter. I live in the Colonial Lake Lands on Lake Drive. We're here tonight, also representing our group I belong to, the Friends of Colonial Lake Park. We're here this evening to discuss a potential threat to an ecologically sensitive area in Colonial Lake Park. The location is between the south shoreline and Lake Drive and the base of Polk Avenue and running approximately 970 feet. In addition to a variety of young trees, this area of approximately 1.7 acres is home to an appreciable number of beech and oak trees at ages greater than 100 years. Our concern is related to Elsa's plan to run a new sewer line through Colonial Lake Park. It currently includes going through the sensitive section of the park, home to the aforementioned trees, which make an unmatched environmental contribution to the ecological stability of the park. This includes the interrelationship with people and the many species of birds, not the least of which are a pair of American bald eagles. The threat is not so much that of taking a tree down. It is more like death by root destruction. However, we feel there is a reasonable and workable solution that avoids the sensitive area and at the same time offers Elsa an equitable alternative. It essentially is for the sewer line to exit the park before entering the environmentally sensitive area. This solution not only removes the potential threat, but from an engineering perspective, it offers an equally good path for their sewer line, according to their engineering consultant. In closing, we respectfully ask Lawrence Township Town Council to support this local modification to the proposed sewer line plan to run through Colonial Lake Park. Respectfully, Friends of Colonial Lake Park, nonprofit. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening,
Good evening.
audience. Quite an audience, I might add. Many here on behalf of the lake. And it's unfortunate that we find ourselves back here again. But anyway, good evening, council. Good evening, Madam Clerk. Good evening, with an S. Again, yeah, it's unfortunate that we find ourselves back here again 5 years after a developer was going to knock things down and encroach on the park with a hotel. Only this time now we have a public entity looking to encroach on the park. And as Tom Ritter, the president of our group just said, our nonprofit just said, quite potentially deal a death blow to 100-year-old trees, nearly a couple of dozen of them in the entryway to the park there. So a neighbor who's here tonight sent a movie to me today from her visit to the park. She was there today, as the mayor just said, picture perfect day, beautiful clear blue skies. And there in her movie is the precious bald eagle, our national symbol, perched up in the trees and dropping off to hunt in the lake's trout stock waters. So I can text or email this to anyone on the council who wishes to have it. I have a couple of numbers. Former Mayor Brian may have it, and anyone in the public who wants it for that matter, or maybe our friend will post it on Facebook, I don't know. Up until 2 months ago, that national symbol, the bald eagle, and the osprey, another frequent visitor to Colonial Lake, were both on New Jersey's list of endangered species. In January, both birds were moved from the endangered list to the more generalized non-game species list, though the bald eagle's status, importantly, is listed as, quote, of special concern. This is from the State Department of Environmental Protection. More on them in a moment. As Tom mentioned, we're asking the town council to seek a Green Acres waiver and to formally oppose this obviously disruptive and on its face destructive plan by Elsa because of the threat to the trees. I'll have everyone here know this is not our first time. Tom and I went to Elsa and we personally asked them to pull this plan. They said, we need a 30-foot waiver from Green Acres. Well, go get it. You don't need to do this. So you're not our first stop, not even our second stop. More on that in a moment. So these are reason enough for the council to oppose Elsa's woefully ill-advised plan and seek that Green Acres waiver. So if I have a moment here, still within that time frame, as I mentioned, we did go to Elsa. Also in January, that was December. In January, we wrote to the town clerk, Honorable Clerk Carter, and that was, I'm just going to read a couple of lines to open that because it's self-explanatory. We are writing at the request of Councilman James Kaunaki, Christopher Bobbitt, and Mayor Patricia Hendricks Farmer, as they have individually and informally in conversation following this past Tuesday evening's town council member meeting, expressed interest in drafting a town council resolution to change the path of a planned Elsa sewer line through Colonial Lake Park so as to avoid imperiling irreplaceable 100-year-old trees in the park in an area that borders Lake Drive. Skipping over some introductories here, this letter was originally drafted with the intention of being sent to the Department of Environmental Protection Green Acres Program, and in hopes of having as signatories in support the Township Council, State Senator Shirley Turner, Assembly members Anthony Varelli and Verlina Reynolds Jackson, potentially the Mercer County Board of Commissioners, and the Board of the Ewing Lawrence Sewerage Authority, ELSA. So again, our fine representatives have said, put this to the clerk and we'll make a resolution out of it. And the reason for that is because I gave this letter to Senator Turner, whose chief of staff wrote back, strong letter, great letter. However, the senator sees this as a home rule issue. Have the Township Council adopt a resolution, and then the senator will join with the council and the assembly people. She'll get the assembly people. And they'll go to the Green Acres and get this darned waiver, okay? 30 feet we're talking about. I also saw Senator Turner, the esteemed Senator Turner, out in public not that long ago, and we discussed this again. So that letter that the council, some council members wanted as a potential draft of a resolution reads that the Ewing Lawrence Sewerage Authority, and by way of explanation to our public, and to put it on the record at the council, has plans to run a new sewer line from Ewing Township through Lawrence Township, including Colonial Lake Park, to the authority's sewage treatment plant located off Whitehead Road in Hamilton Township. The current plan is woefully ill-advised, yet on the plus side can be easily remedied with a shift in the pathway that is not only far safer for the health and life of the park's existing flora and fauna, including our national symbol, the bald eagle, as well as osprey, the belted kingfisher, countless other important species, but also more efficient and likely less costly as well. I'll just add as a parenthesis, I'm not really sure that's true now as I look back in naivety, but the distance we're talking about is 3 football fields, 900 feet. So unless you're going to line that pipe with gold, it's doable. So first, some background. The current plans call for the line necessitated by development growth in Ewing Township to run through the park, at first in a grassy area along Colonial Lake's western bank, before veering left at the top of the hill to follow existing pathway that takes it through the heart of a grove of century-old healthy trees that serve as a natural entryway, wildlife habitat, and shaded buffer zone alongside and over the top of the walking path along Colonial Lake's southern bank. Because installing the line means trenching or drilling several feet deep to accommodate it, I believe it's a 3-foot line. This route would imperil the health and potentially the very lives of these stately centenarian trees that are irreplaceable signature asset of the park. Thankfully, this can be very easily avoided with an alternative pathway that impacts none of these trees and which lies less than a stone's throw away from the planned path. On top of this, it is in fact even more direct and efficient for ELSA's plans than the pathway that is currently charted in those plans. In one of those interesting ironies in life that so often give well-meaning governance a bad name, the reason ELSA chose the pathway through the trees rather than avoiding them entirely, at least this is what they told Tom and I when we visited their meeting in December, was to comply with a decades-old easement granted to ELSA for an existing pipeline by the state of New Jersey's acclaimed Green Acres environmental program. The purpose of the easement was to restrict ELSA to a 30-foot zone beyond which it would not be allowed to further disturb existing parkland. I got about 45 seconds. The Green Acres program, created in 1961, is, according to the website of the State Department of Environmental Protection, which administers the program, quote, to achieve in partnership with others a system of interconnected open spaces whose protection will preserve and enhance New Jersey's natural environment, and its historic, scenic, and recreational resources for public use and enjoyment. By restricting ELSA to the existing easement, the Green Acres program would unnecessarily and likely unwittingly be putting in harm's way the very centenarian trees, centenarian? The easement was designed to protect in the first place. By shifting the line mere tens of feet, and the mayor has walked this trail with me, Councilman Bobbitt is there often. By shifting that line mere tens of feet, I could throw underhand. The trees are protected and the project continues unabated. We, the undersigned, therefore beseech the stewards of the DEP's Green Acres program to save the park's centenarian trees from the grave threat this planned pipeline poses and grant relief to ELSA from the Green Acres easement in this area for the purpose of this project. Respectfully submitted by Tom Ritter and Jim Hooker, together with the entire executive board of the Friends of Colonial Lake Park nonprofit. Any questions?
Yeah, just gonna get clarification
Sure.
and just check on the timing and the timeline. If something has changed or something is occurring, I don't know, Mr. Kanaki, can you give us any update on the pipeline?
We had a meeting today. I'm sorry. We had a meeting today.
It would appear that if the information that may be available was discussed in a privileged context at the ELSA meeting. I wasn't there, but according to Mr. Kanaki, who was there and is not yet been afforded the ability to be public. So based on that representation, I don't think he can comment on that.
Mayor, when we went back, oh, I'm sorry. I thought-
And then, so in addition, what's being asked of the council is to complete a resolution in support of Green Acres and easement. Is that something within our?
Yeah, I mean, I would assume there's no real legal issue with that. It's up to council if they want to entertain that, unless there is some other reason that we're unaware of that ELSA may have involving that. I just, don't have enough information to give you more than that.
Direction. Manager Nowinski, do you have any thoughts on this particular situation?
I will not step on the toes of Mr. Sypek with regard to this, but the council has routinely provided resolutions in support of one thing or another. I don't see there's any difference if the consensus of the majority of council is to propose a resolution. That resolution is basically the council speaking as a body saying, this is our position. And, you and Lawrence Sewage Authority, they're a separate authority. You can't tell them what to do. However, we've got two members of council that are on there. So they could even deliver the resolution to it. So that's my thought on this. There's nothing township operational wise that I've been informed of that's different. I know that Mr. Filler came here previously, was it in December, maybe November?
I think it was way back.
Wait, and his presentation has not changed. That plan has not changed since then, so.
Just the request for the resolution, I do remember, was more recent.
Oh, yeah, no, what I'm talking about,
But I'm familiar with
Yeah.
the whole
Elsa's
project.
came here, they described the plan, there was opposition to it
Yeah,
then,
that-
and it continues, and the plan has not changed yet. So the window for council to pass a resolution,
It's closing.
it's closing, right? So I think maybe sooner,
Better than later.
better than later.
Okay.
Mayor, respectfully, can I ask whether the council can, okay, a resolution, and then we'll get, the senator will back it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Hopefully Elsa would. Can the council block Elsa from running this line through their park?
No, I don't see they have, there's no jurisdiction. There's no jurisdiction of the Lawrence Township Council to block the activity by ELSA, which is a separate governmental unit.
Okay, but we can show our support by
Yes.
resolution. And in addition, there are other legislators that can also support the I would say the movement or, waiver. So I think that, I don't know if I need to take a poll of council this evening to see if we're in support, if there's anybody, I don't know, Mr. Bobbitt, if you want to make any additional comments or.
I did have one question, Mayor, if I may, whenever it's appropriate.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay, so one of the things that Mr. Hooker has brought up is that from his understanding, Elsa is planning on running a pipeline through the stand of trees along the path, sort of in between Polk Avenue and Winchester. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Along Lake Drive, the path that's just in between Lake Drive and the shoreline, which would disturb quite a number of trees. Now, I refer you back to a letter that was received by you. It was addressed to you, but it was shared by all council. Thank you to the clerk. July 15th, 2024. It reads, let me scroll down. Elsa took note of the comments received from Lawrence Township Council and public participation regarding work in or near the sewer easements in Colonial Lake Park. And then number 2, and this is written by the executive director, Mr. Filler. Number 2, Green Acres only allows construction of the existing easement within Green Acre lands. With that condition, we were able to design the dualized force main in Colonial Lake Park rerouting to public street to prevent tree clearing within the existing sewer easement within the park. There is only one tree in question, and Elsa will require hand excavation within the drip line of that tree. Elsa is agreeable and further will require an arborist to be on site for inspections during excavation and pipe installation in and around the noted tree. Now, I read that publicly because that was sort of the basis in which I said yes to the council's resolution to allow Elsa to move forward with this plan. Now, it sounds like from what Friends of the Colonial Lake are saying, the 2 members that we've heard so far, something has changed, and I would like to understand why. And if it has changed, I think we need to have a letter at some point so that we can make an informed decision about this.
Mayor, Councilman Bob, I could tell you that I had a communication with, and I shared, I think with all of you, an email communication pointedly asking, has something changed in the plan since it first was presented to council? And there was an emphatic no from Mr. Phillip. And that was a couple weeks ago, like within a couple weeks ago. So, I just want you to know, like that question was posed, there was an answer, and here we are today. So.
But there would be no harm, as a body, passing a resolution in support of the Green Acres waiver. So I think, do you have a majority of council in agreement with that?
Yes.
Of course,
Okay.
absolutely.
Well, I just want, okay. So then,
Is there any way, I am on the ELSA board, along with Councilman Kanaki. May I suggest maybe if we can get ELSA, we get out there to flag the area, the pathway, and actually show us with the flags out there. I think that would do a lot.
It would help.
To come out and say, not just point here or there, we put flags out the path of it.
Mr. Ritter and I, Councilman,
Well, just-
with respect, Mr. Ritter and I both walked this path with Elsa. We didn't walk the entire path, but we stood there with the blueprints because we were invited back for a blueprint to look at it. We did. And I said, what are we standing here in this building for looking at blueprints? Let's go look at it. We're 5 minutes. So we did. And we were there with Mr. Fuller and the engineer. And boom, right there, right through that heart of the park, right through those centenarian trees is this pathway. And the engineer, and Tom Ritter is my witness, and he'd probably, he'd cop to it as well. There's a manhole cover right here. I mean, we're talking really granular stuff right here at our council, as we should, because this is our park. So here's the manhole cover, go straight ahead to that exit door. And you're out on Polk Avenue, you are away from those trees. What they want to do, or yourselves as ELSA board members, is hang a left and go directly through those trees, burrowing underneath. As Mr. Ritter says, dealing a death knell to these trees with Lord knows what in these roots. A guy across the street from me had his sidewalk redone 10 years ago. Big, beautiful sycamore there. Our neighborhood is defined by these big, beautiful sycamores, a lot of them, right, Councilman? And I watched, and they cut a big old root, like, I don't know, a foot around or so, something. And don't you know, it was probably a taproot, because then that tree withered and died. That's what's gonna happen underneath the ground in this situation. And we can't have that. Go straight out, you're coming all the way from Ewing Township, millions of dollars spent, Lord knows how many roadways you're gonna be digging up. Go straight out and avoid 900 feet. Mr. Ritter purchased one of those, roll the thing and measure it, because I said it felt like a couple of football fields. He bought it, he measured it, it's 900 feet, 3 football fields. Get the hell out of the park and go up the block.
Okay, well, I think we're all in agreement that we would write a resolution in support of what's being asked. And it sounds like time is of the essence, so we will move on that very quickly.
Mayor, may I also, is also the pipe that is there, Mr. Hooker, I'm telling, and Mr. Ritter and my friends here, I've been 40 years in Colonial Lake. It's at its max that you can get out, and if something should happen, that's why things are.
That argument doesn't wash, with all respect, because you're putting in a new line, an extension of a line. That will take off whatever burden the other line has. And if it did break and you had to go in there, well, you gotta go dig around a 10-foot circumference, whatever it is, not a 900-foot circumference. So that doesn't wash, respectfully.
You don't put a Band-Aid on it.
But we
You're not-
are agreeing, we are in agreement that we will write a resolution in support and then look for the additional support of legislators.
I did use the HA double hockey sticks, Mayor, I apologize for that. I sort of get wound up a little bit. And so, but it's on behalf of the trees. And hopefully we will, between yourselves, the senator and the assembly people, maybe the commissioners will get on board. Elsa, let's get on board and we'll straighten this thing out, literally, and keep the heck out of the trees.
Okay.
And you've walked that, we've walked it together, Mayor, and I appreciate it.
Mhm.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mayor, while we're waiting for the next, I'm not trying to stop you, I'm just trying to fill some time. Can we direct the manager to put an adult warning on the YouTube feed so that whenever Mr. Hooker's coming up? Which probably PG-13, Mr.
So can I make a recommendation, Mayor? It seems like the consensus is clear. Would a council member tonight propose a resolution to oppose the present plan Elsa intends to install a line through the certain sections of Colonial Lake Park, to request a waiver from Green Acres to divert that line, consistent with the proposal presented under the Friends of Colonial Lake plan?
Just what you said.
Would you like to
So
make the proposition?
just one of you would have to say, I make that motion, and then you could take a vote. And this way, instead of waiting until April 1st, we could craft the resolution now, commit it to writing, and then just be able to send it out. Art, you think that that's appropriate?
So you need a
Well,
final.
it certainly comports with our code and Robert's rules. And it's really, up to council. If they feel it's appropriate, they have the legal right to do that. You're going to be adding that obviously to the agenda, but that would be legally permissible.
Okay.
Just a couple minutes.
I'll just,
Before we vote? Is that what you're saying? You
No,
can vote? You can vote? Okay. All right.
So moved. Can we do that? Not have
Somebody
to.
needs to second.
We need a
Second.
second.
We need to see you,
Okay, and then, we're,
Wait a minute, what are we doing?
we're, if you could give us, we're gonna need to take just a few minutes of recess for, for offline.
I think
Mayor won't take long.
Okay, thank you. 5-minute break.
Sorry, Debbie.
Council, yeah, because they can talk.
How you doing, sir?
Well, how are you doing? You caught me with food in my mouth.
And we're back.
I got Werther's. I got Werther's.
Okay, we're back in session. And I believe we're having some additional public comment.
Wait,
Oh,
wait.
yeah. Did we vote?
No.
Somebody can make that motion.
Yeah,
somebody can
we
second
already
that.
seconded.
And we have
So, Madam Clerk, if you could call the roll.
Absolutely. Okay, Mr. Bobbitt,
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki,
Yes.
Ms. Berry,
Yes.
Mr. Ryan,
Yes.
Mayor Furman.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Is there any additional public comment?
Oh, Debbie.
She already signed in. She bought the ticket.
My name is Deborah Dorner. I live in Lawrence Township. I've been in Lawrence Township for 40 years. Of course, I live in Colonial Lake. I'm part of the Friends of Colonial Lake nonprofit. And I was just looking back to 2020. I guess it was when the whole purchase of the other property took place. And I know that the township, the county, the state, open space paid a lot of money for it. And I'm bringing that over now to the other side of the lake, thinking about those trees. And that just happens to be where I do my story time.
Mm-hmm.
And if any of you know me, I'm all about the kids. Matter of fact, my first boss is here. And I do monthly story time in the spring and summer. I've been doing it for 3 years. And I picked that area specifically because it's far enough from the playground that doesn't steal the kids' attention. And it's also beautiful. There's shade, because I do it when it's still been very hot and it's still sunny. And they have a beautiful view of the lake. And I do a lot of environmental stories. And on their level, sometimes the kids are too young, but when I do stories and activities, we talk about the eagles. The kids have seen the eagles sitting in those trees. As a matter of fact, one of my former, there he is. He's on my story time. He also cleans up the lake and supports Friends of Colonial Lake. He comes to the cleanups. He's very active and he's a sweet kid. So, you know, I bring the children. Done it before. But thank you, and I thank you for listening, and I hope that we can make this done the right way.
Hello, council. This is my first time I've been up here. I just wanted to point out
Your name, please.
Oh, I'm sorry, Edward Lau, 17 Dogleg Lane. Just point out a very dangerous road crossing. I'm a walker. I walk up 206 and just past the parking lot for the police, crossing the exit from 295 south. You can't see cars coming up, that roadway. And, I look, I don't see any cars. I'm in the middle. All of a sudden, there's a car right up there. I'm pretty quick on my feet, so I'm able to dodge it. But there may be some people that are not so quick. And I checked to see the signs there on that exit. There's a sign, showing pedestrian crossing and speed limit of 20 miles an hour. These cars are coming out a lot faster than 20 miles an hour. And I think it's an easy fix. There's a lot of low-lying brush that's head high. You can't see cars coming from that, coming from the interstate. So I think just clearing that brush, you have a clear view of the cars. Coming the other way, coming down 206 south, you can see cars coming in, so it's no problem crossing coming from when you're going southbound. But I think that needs to be checked, because I think it's, it's amazing that no one has gotten killed so far.
Where exactly is it, 206?
It's, if you go right past the police parking lot,
Mhm.
you cross the, the exit coming from 295 before you go over the overpass.
Uh-huh.
And you just, the road winds, you cannot see a car until it's right on top of you
Oh, yeah,
because of that
yeah.
brush.
Okay. It's the entry, the entry ramp off of 295.
Yes,
Okay.
the exit ramp. coming up to
They're coming
295.
off there.
Right, going up, go up 206.
I know everyone does. Okay.
Covering it.
Thank you.
Was that covering the police station?
Was that
The trees that they planted?
Mayor, I can make
Yeah.
the request of our New Jersey DOT representative to look at it and address the situation.
Just hand these out.
And I put my name down already. So my name is Jim Bird. I used to wrestle against you guys. I went to Hopewell Valley, and I live in Hopewell Township, and I was a mayor in Hopewell Township. The reason I'm here tonight is a little bit different than what you're going through in this situation, because what you're doing is very pertinent for your community. But what I'm here to talk to you about is something that's statewide, and it's involved with the affordable housing law. And what you should do is take an opportunity and look at your property tax, because at least 15% of your property tax is going to the school board. This is a major impact as we talk about affordable housing. And I'll go into more detail as we progress. But what I suggest is take away the tunnel vision. And I say this also to the council members. Take away the tunnel vision and look at the state situation with affordable housing. Now, there was a bill that was passed, and I think it was in October, and it was S70, in which they talked about, we'll make things a little bit smaller. If people need to make a challenge, we'll listen to them, so on and so forth. What I've done was just gave a copy to the council here, and it's the impact of proposed amendment to Fair Housing Act enrollment. And basically, it was done by the attorneys of NJILGA. And they're the attorneys that represent the different municipalities throughout New Jersey. They're the individuals that took the time to look at this law thoroughly. And I think what they did was very significant. Because what they were doing was they realized that there's a big hole or a big circular area. And that's where the affordable housing is. But it's one of these situations that nobody really knew what type of equation was there. And nobody still knows. What they did was this. They took the time to look at this and they said, what we should do is look at 2010 to 2020 and look at the COs of that period of time throughout New Jersey. Also, they said, take out places where you've taken down a house and then rebuilt there. That doesn't go along with this. So what they did was they checked it out thoroughly, and then they put together an amendment. And no one really thinks about amendment, but amendment is also a bill. It works along with an existing law. And what they said, and if you would look at number 7 or page 7, for Lawrence Township, right now, they're saying that you need to have 320 affordable housing units from 2025 to 2035. If you slide your hand to the right, then you'll come to where we're talking about the S 4065. And in that, we're saying that for Lawrence Township, you're talking about 70 affordable housing units. Now, there's something very important about affordable housing units, and that took place with the builder's remedy back in 1985. And what it basically said was, in order, if no one meets the criteria of the state, then the developer comes through and puts in the affordable housing, and he does it on a 20% affordable housing. But he also says, but I also want to make money, so he'll get 80% of the market value. That's why you look at your taxes, and all of a sudden, remember when, because I've been around for almost 73 years in Hopewell Township, and I've seen the taxes increase and increase and increase. We agree that there should be affordable housing, but at the same time, it has to work along with the property taxpayers in New Jersey. So I ask you to look this over, and I'll be back to discuss it a little bit more when we, at the 3-minute time. Thank you. If you have any questions, and by the way, my name's Jim Bird. My email is jim.beurd@gmail.com. And if you have any questions, please feel free to call on me. And if you have any questions, feel free.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sylvia Cobus. I would like to thank the council for tonight's resolution for the Friends of Colonial Lake to try to save those trees. I think it's very important that we look at all of this, especially in South Lawrence, where we are running out of green spaces, and we need to protect everything that we can, especially trees that are over 100 years old, because those are priceless. And those little nuggets all over the South Lawrence that are still green and need that protection. And I think that's wonderful that you resolved to have that saved today for the Colonial Park. Because as a lot of us from my neighborhood, Colonial Heights, that park saved us from going insane during pandemic. We all took nice walks in that park, but the reason why we from Colonial Heights had to go to Colonial Lake Park is because we don't have those beautiful spaces right in the neighborhood. And as a gentleman here mentioned, difficult crossing on 206 by the 295, the Whitehead Circle is not much safer to cross to go to Colonial Lake Park to enjoy that. So it would be great to have really nice spaces to enjoy that kind of shaded walk also in our neighborhood, Colonial Heights. So once again, thank you for saving, once again, Colonial, or at least attempting at this point to save the Colonial Park. I hope that in the future you will also stand up for our green spaces in Colonial Heights. So I truly appreciate it. Thank you.
Good evening, council, and members of the council meeting tonight. I didn't think I was going to talk about affordable housing.
Mr. Marine, you just have to speak in real quick for the record.
Oh, Fred Marine,
On,
Fred Marine Junior Road. And I want to thank Councilman Kanaki for that. On my 80th birthday, Mr. Kanaki presented me with that resolution of naming my road after me. So, thank you. But also, Mr. Bird, I would hope that the next time you come, you will also tell council how many affordable housing units that Hopewell has built so far. And I want to thank council for passing the resolution for the task force. And I just want to take this opportunity to invite council and all the members that are here tonight to just take a ride down through Eggers Crossing. I know it's not the best place that you'd like to take a drive, but I want you to see the difference. And I know you don't know the difference when I grew up in Eggers Crossing. My family moved there in 1941. That's when we had dirt roads and shacks and substandard housing and outhouses. Today, folks, we're having $600,000 houses built on my road that I grew up on. And that's nothing to sneeze at. Because I would like council, or I hope that the task force can do an analysis of what taxes that came out of that Black community at one time. From when, do 10 years analysis of taxes that was coming to the township compared to what is coming out of that little area right now. And that's the legacy of the neighborhood center. Now, do you think that if we can turn that around in a day's time with developing the diversity of Lawrence Township, if we can make that change, not overnight, in the finances that come out of that community from the neighborhood center and develop that into lives of people. And everything starts from community. Everything starts from the community. And that neighborhood center has developed that community of Eggers Crossing into a gem. A gem. You know, I live, you know, I look out my door and, you know, they put a fire plug right up the street from me. I took a picture of it and I said, a fire plug comes to Eggers Crossing. And, you know, and there's Indian families, white families. It's what a community should be in diversity. And that's what that neighborhood center has done. And it can do the same thing for the community of Lawrence Township. And it's a place where people can come and do things socially. And so I just invite you to take a ride through my neighborhood now, because we're more than proud of it. I might not be able to afford my taxes anymore, but it's all worth it.
It's that fire plug.
Thank you.
Fire hydrant.
Mayor, if I could just add to what Mr. Green said. This is definitely the time to go down Johnson Avenue. Well, soon enough when the trees are in bloom. It's gorgeous.
Yes,
It's
just
gorgeous.
That's true. That's the Harold Vereen trail.
Mm-hmm. It's just down there.
Hi, everyone. My name is Dave Basio. I live on Villanova Drive in Lawrence Township, Colonial Lakelands. For a little curveball, I want to talk about a couple of things and updates hopefully you can provide me. Up the road 206, there's a abandoned lot. It's right next to the, I guess, tobacco shop or the vape shop. And I just wanted to see if there's any updates on what's going on with that lot. It's been probably around 5 years. I know there's been some testing. And I just wanted to see if there's any other plans to update it or remove it.
Sure,
If you would like me to,
if you would.
Sure.
mind,
So that's the pit stop.
Yeah.
Affectionately known as the pit stop. So, I don't know if you're aware of the history of the pit stop, but it's currently owned by a defunct LLC where the principal member is deceased.
Yep.
So it has a complicated history and it's known as a zombie lot because there's nobody that's willing to purchase it because there's so many tax liens and DEP liens on it. And it's also a contaminated property. And so the town, 5 or 6 years ago, took it upon themselves to try and figure out a situation. How can we address this? How can we remove the building that was there, that was an eyesore for decades? And we were able to convince one of the children of the LLC owner that was deceased to allow us the opportunity to apply for the new a grant to the New Jersey DEP to study the contamination and start remediation processes on it, with the idea that once the DEP funded the study and the removal, the heir to the property owner would deed the property to Lawrence Township for $1.
Okay.
And then the condition from the DEP is that nothing is supposed to be built on it. It's supposed to be preserved as a passive park.
Right.
That's still the plan.
Okay.
Right now, we are in the process of having a second round of remediation efforts done, because now that the building's been removed, the soil that was underneath the building can finally be tested and removed, remediated. And there's a lot of underwater water that's involved in that. So that's where we are right now. We're in the process of waiting for the DEP to approve that final testing. We have a consultant remediation firm retained, currently doing the well monitoring. So we're in the middle of that process. It has taken some time, but we're not the owners of the property, but we're pushing it forward because our end game would be to have that be a focal point for our community in terms of a great passive park with maybe a gazebo and something for the community to enjoy.
That's awesome. So, just to follow up on that, the contamination part, when you guys are testing or when you hire someone to test, do they test the houses that are in that area at all, or no? Is it just confined to that one area?
It's that one area. Now, if there is, this is controlled by the DEP, supervised. It's not the township employees doing this at all, right? So these are licensed environmental remediation specialists. If there is evidence to them that it has gone off site for some reason, then there are steps that the DEP takes to notify other property owners.
Perfect. So my parents live back there, and my dad has a garden, and I eat those vegetables.
We get you. I will tell you that there has nothing crossed my desk over these last 5 or 6 years that indicates that the contamination has gone any further.
Perfect, thank you. One additional, I know I'm running out of time, but is there any update on what's going on in the Lawrence Shopping Center with the gym that's potentially supposed to be put there?
Yeah, so the owner has
you're talking about.
finally complied to the satisfaction of the inspectors that the inside of it meets all state and federal safety standards. I think we're probably a week away from issuing, nobody hold this to me, because I'm away from issuing a temporary certificate of occupancy.
Awesome.
If not a full occupancy. So it's been a long process, but.
Yeah, you're talking.
Urban air, I'm talking about urban air.
Urban air. Are you talking about urban air?
Oh, no, I was talking about the gym.
The gym.
Yeah.
Let me go that long without, that's urban air. The gym is currently, LA Fitness owns the rights to build a gym, has continued to continue the permit process, but they, since the pandemic, have been in a retreat mode, not building new. So they have not abandoned the site. They're still there, and maybe when their business process is in expansion mode, they'll select that Lawrence site as the site to build one, because I think it would be a great addition.
Okay.
Sorry about that, I didn't mean to.
No.
Yes, go ahead.
They extended their permit so they didn't have to reapply again.
To do the whole planning board.
Right, so it was ready to expire, they extended it just in case they're ready to go.
Right.
And then they'll have to reapply.
And then real quick, because I'm a member of the nonprofit at Colonial Lake, and two things real quick. One, I know sometimes you hear like 100-year-old trees and you think they're old. They're actually not. Those trees can last between 300 and 400 years old. So technically, they're younger than me. They're basically 25 years old. I'm 46. I'm getting up there. So that's one. So don't think that they're old and that it's okay if, you disrupt them or, possibly take one or two down. And then the second thing is I'll never forget this. It made me think about this. I was looking for a new home with my wife probably 3 years ago, and we were driving to these brand new, beautiful communities, huge homes, gorgeous, but it always felt so cold driving in and driving out. And the reason why is because the trees are this tall in those communities. So there's no warmth, there's no love, there's no connection. So please, I know they said a lot today. I just want to confirm that, anything you guys can do, we greatly appreciate it. Thank you. And thank you for the new equipment at Elder Point.
Seeing no additional public participation, we're closing public participation at this time. Okay, we don't have any revisions to the agenda, is that right?
Well, Mayor, you had the resolution that you did verbally. You should add that to the agenda.
Okay. So we can have that.
Mayor, also I'd like to add in closed session there, the tax assessors.
Okay.
Can we discuss that?
would be for personnel. If we have personnel matters and personnel. Do we need to vote on it or not? We'll just make those adjustments, okay? So we're adding the resolution and we're also adding the, okay. Do we
You have
have
to
a
vote, you have to vote to add that resolution.
motion? Okay.
We did.
I thought we voted, but we'll vote to
No, you have to take a
So you're
vote.
just gonna vote to
add it to
amend the
the
agenda.
agenda.
Yeah, that's all you're doing. That's all you're doing.
Yes.
If I could have a motion?
Well, I'm gonna second.
Oh. So moved.
Second.
We can have a roll call, please.
Mr. Bobbitt?
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki?
Yes.
Ms. Perry?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Mayor Farmer?
Yes. Great. Now, if I can have a motion for the adoption of minutes?
Mayor, I'll move 8A, regular meeting, November 7th, 2024.
You have a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, if you could call the roll, please.
Mr. Bobbitt?
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki?
Yes.
Ms. Perry?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Abstain.
Mayor Farmer?
Yes. Okay. Your motion, the awarding of bids, authorizing, we have someone can call.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to move 9A, number 136, authorizing awarding of bid number 25-04, lawn service to RJM Landscape and Design.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, if you could call the roll. Is there any discussion of it? I'm sorry. Do we need any discussion?
The bid.
Over the bid.
Listen, it's a bid to supplement our lawn maintenance that we do. Public Works does the lion's share of it, but we do have to retain a private company to do some of our lawn work. So it's awarding RJM Landscape and Design, and the amount of bid is $44,500.
Is there any public participation with regard to this bid? Okay. Okay, closing 9A, number 136. Please call the roll.
Mr. Bobbitt?
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki?
Yes.
Ms. Perry?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Mayor
Oh,
Farmer?
sorry.
It's okay.
You're excited
Yes.
about that one.
It's actually going pretty
Now,
well.
if we could have introduction and wording service.
Mayor, I'd like to move 10A, ordinance number 2488-25, ordinance amending ordinance 2427-22 by the Township of Lawrence, County of Mercer, State of New Jersey, in order to revise the description of the improvement herein, acquisition of fire/rescue equipment, ambulance, and equipment.
A second.
Give a second, okay. Mr. Newlands, is there anything to add?
So this is a capital fund that requires you to authorize a change in the description of for the acquisition of an ambulance from a brush truck that was going to be purchased for a fire department. I had Mr. Oakley prepare a memo that was attached to this that hopefully that you all read. From time to time, our needs change and circumstances change. So in order to comply with the state law, we do have to revise the description to include this, and I hopefully seek your approval to get this done.
Okay. Councilman Perry, is there anything you want to add?
No, looking forward to it.
Okay. Is there a question on the board?
Mayor, is this, because I saw Mr. Oakley put on the memo right there. And I didn't see anything in his present. Is it in the budget or, because he didn't present it in the budget at all?
So this is currently in our budget, not the new budget, the budget that was already passed, like you guys already funded
Correct.
this amount of money.
Right.
So all we're doing is we're not spending more money, we're just revising the description of what we are going to purchase.
So it's not adding to a bond?
Not adding to anything. It's just changing a description. So instead of
For a brush
purchasing
truck.
one thing, we're gonna purchase another thing because that is a more present need to get an ambulance serving the community.
Well, I was just asking on it, not to.
Yeah.
To hash on it, because with the B, when we get to that also, because it's also similar to
We're
it.
pulling from two different sources.
Because he
that's
didn't
all.
put in his presentation, I watched it.
It's not for 2025's
It
budget.
was
It's already been
2024.
in the budget. It's already been approved. It's just
Okay.
something that's been around for a while.
Okay, very good, thank you.
We're ready to vote? Madam Clerk?
Mr. Bobbit,
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki,
Yes.
Ms. Perry,
Yes.
Mr. Ryan,
Yes,
Mayor Plummer.
Yes. If I could have a motion for the next ordinance.
Mayor, I'd like to move 10B, ordinance number 2489-25, ordinance amending ordinance 2449-23 by the Township of Lawrence, County of Mercer, State of New Jersey, in order to revise the description of the improvement herein, acquisition of fire/rescue equipment, quote, ambulance and equipment, unquote.
I second.
Mr. Nowinski, if you could provide some clarification.
Yeah, it's the
Same
same
thing.
thing. It's for the exact same thing. We're just revising it under two different funds. As you can see, the A was ordinance 2427-2022, and this is 2449-2023. So this is what has been in the budget for that period of time, and now we're just re-describing what we're going to be doing.
And we're ready to make the purchase.
Well, this is the first start.
All right. If we can have roll call, please. For your
Mr. Bobbit,
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki,
Yes.
Ms. Perry,
Yes.
Mr. Ryan,
yes,
Mayor Plummer.
yes. Okay, one more ordinance.
Mayor, I'd like to move 10C, ordinance number 2490-25, ordinance adopting the regulation of invasive bamboo.
That's okay. You have-
I love this. Do we have a second? Yeah.
second,
So this came about because I received an email from a resident who has adjacent to a property that has bamboo that is not being managed. Bamboo's awesome,
I love
Right?
that.
but it's very aggressive and it requires people who have bamboo to consistently maintain it.
Be good.
And in order for us to assist property owners who are being encroached upon by this invasive bamboo, we had to revise, I had Jim Harvey's our zoning officer, do some research on how we can amend our present ordinance to give it more enforcement power so that township officials can work with property owners to comply. Nobody's looking to remove all bamboo from all lands within Lawrence Township. It's just allowing us to give relief to property owners who are being subjected to this invasive growth, not to their liking. So that's
So
all.
relief would be that we would service it and take it out?
No,
or that
no, the relief would be, it would provide a code enforcement officer to work with the property owner and, have them remove it. In a very non-invasive, aggressive way. How's that?
Good own words. I like it. Okay. We have a second? Yes. Madam Clerk, if you could call the roll, please.
Mr. Bobbit,
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki,
Yes.
Ms. Perry,
Yes.
Mr. Ryan,
yes,
Mayor Plummer.
Yes. Now we'll move on to the adoption of ordinances.
I will tell you, Mayor,
Mhm.
the resident is going to be floored by the fact that within 3 weeks, we got this thing
Done.
before you and passed. So I'm excited to at least send them an email saying it's all taken care of, so it's good.
Oh, my God. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you for that. Okay, if we have now the adoption of ordinances.
Mayor, I'll move 11A, ordinance number 2486-25, ordinance providing for sidewalk improvements in and by the Township of Lawrence and the County of Mercer, New Jersey, appropriating $57,050 therefore and directing the special assessment of the cost thereof.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, Mr. Manager.
This is a part of our sidewalk replacement program where we are able, as a township, to negotiate very reduced prices for property owners who have sidewalks in need of repair, to get those repairs done and have it be collected from the tax collector's office over a 5-year period of time, interest-free. So it promotes pedestrian safety and gives property owners the ability to get this thing done without a huge financial hit upon them. So it's been working really well, and probably if more people knew about it, they would take advantage of it. So we continually try to get the word out with regard to it. But so this year, the number is $57,000. Now that's not taxpayer, it's not from us, not from the municipal budget.
Right.
It's going to be collected from property owners who take advantage of the sidewalk program.
May I ask a question?
Yeah.
Is there a code enforcement for sidewalks?
Is there a code?
If
We-
a property owner does not?
If any property owner feels that there is a sidewalk that is hazardous, they should report it. And we will follow up with regard to it.
And if I could, I was just curious, what is the average cost of repairing a sidewalk?
Oh, it's by, I'm sorry, it's by foot, so,
Footage.
yeah. I can tell you, the rate is significantly less than if it was, you're dealing privately. So,
Follow-up question?
yeah,
Where do they report it?
to the zoning
To the
office.
zone? Okay.
All right, is there any questions from the public? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, if you could call the roll, please.
Mr. Bobbitt,
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki,
Yes.
Ms. Perry,
Yes.
Mr. Ryan,
Yes.
Mayor Plummer.
Yes. We could have another reading of the ordinance. 11B.
Mayor, I'll move 11B, ordinance number 2487-25, calendar year 2025 ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriations limits and to establish a cap bank for the Township of Lawrence, County of Mercer, NJSA 40A:4.45.14.
Do I have a second?
Sorry, second.
Mr. Nowinski.
This is a function of New Jersey budget law that allows municipalities to create a bank of money, not spending money, just create a bank of up to 3.5%. To use or not use over the next couple of years, should the need come, should we have a need to do it. So it's not expending monies, it's just allowing us to take advantage of the budget law.
May I ask a question? How many times in the last 3 years have we done a bank?
We do it every year.
Every year? And the average amount?
Oh, that
It varies?
I can get you that information with regard to the bank.
So would it be 3.5 of the 60 million, or the normal budget?
No, it's actually, the law provides for exceeding the 2.5% to go up to at least 3.5%.
Okay.
An additional percent.
Percentage, okay.
Are there any questions from the public? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, if you could call the roll, please.
Mr. Bobbitt,
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki,
Yes.
Ms. Perry,
Yes.
Mr. Ryan,
Yes.
Mayor Plummer.
Yes. Okay, thank you very much. Now this brings us to the department program, where we will now have a review of the budget for 2025. And Mr. Nowinski will guide us through that process.
I'm guiding you through the process. I'm sorry. It's my understanding that you wanted a line-by-line reading of the budget. The budget is the governing bodies at this point in time. I provided the recommended budget back in, was it February 4th? And now that budget becomes your budget to deal with. It's already been introduced. So if you are inclined to read the budget line by line, that is your inclination to do that.
Okay.
I will be here if there's anything
Any
that,
questions?
that comes up, but I want to remind everybody here that we have scheduled for April 1st, the budget hearing. That's when the budget hearing is supposed to take place. So we are after introduction. The state law requires 28 days before the budget is up for adoption and public hearing. So we are in that time space now. So there should be, and I'll defer to council with regard to this, budget hearing that's taking place. So this budget that you're going to be reading line by line has been available
Yes.
for anybody who is interested to read line by line on the website. We're available if they needed it from some other way. So.
And we're still within our time frame we're still within our time frame for the hearing.
For what?
For the
Adoption.
adoption of the budget.
Okay, so.
The adoption is due by.
So we passed a resolution, like all municipalities, that sets a schedule for our budget timeline to be consistent with the directives by the state of New Jersey. Okay. And our budget timeline set forth the recommended budget being on a certain date, February 4th. And the introduction of the budget being, was it March 4th? And in between that time, we had department heads come over a
Back in February.
meeting to present their budget and to answer any questions that you've had. So during that space of time before the introduction, after the recommendation and before the introduction, that is the time frame for council to review the recommended budget, ask all the questions of myself, Peter Kyriakakis, and the department heads. Because when we get to the introduction of the budget, which was passed, now the function is to get it to adoption. So if you ask me if there's time, there's, if your intention is to change this budget in some way, that puts us in peril of not meeting our deadline. So all I would do, I would recommend for 2026,
Yes.
if I'm still here,
We're gonna do it this year.
at the February 4th or at the intro,
In the beginning.
at the recommended budget, you say to me, Mr. Nowinski, we would like your recommended budget. Instead of reading the message that I read to you, we want you to take us line by line through that budget. And I will absolutely do that because it's still my budget and that's my way that you're saying, give it to us that way.
What you're saying is you turned it over to us now, and it's our
Well,
budget.
that's the function of it now. So it's your budget to review. And if you deem it necessary to go line by line, that's your prerogative to do that. I will tell you on April.
Okay. We're cutting into
On
it.
April 1st, there's going to be two things that happen. There will be a resolution that will be put for your vote to adopt the budget by title only. And if that's rejected, you would have to read the budget line by line again. So, and I don't think there's ever been a time where the resolution to adopt by title has not been done. It's just a function of government to do it that way.
Right. So that's how we did it. Okay. So with that being said, because it is on our agenda to review the budget, line by line, is there, Mr. Ryan, is there a recommendation that you'd like to make? Or questions?
No, Mayor, we will just go to April 1st only.
We'll go to April 1st.
Are we good with that?
You good with that?
Well, it's our budget, like you said. He claimed it, and but we will, but in the coming year, in 2026, we probably.
I think it's fine. You guys, this is the most important thing that you guys do, right? So if you were to tell the municipal manager at the time, we'd like for you to present it line by line, that will happen at the recommendation.
We can start that in February.
Right. Yeah, that would be the earliest possible date. And then that gives us all the time to have the interchange that we're supposed to have. So you guys are fully informed when the adoption comes up and you vote. So, however, I will say this, I will be available to all of you guys from now to the adoption. If you've got questions, I want you to know this budget, so.
Okay. Councilwoman, is there any additional questions that you have? No? Okay. Yeah, I was ready to go on my notes. Okay. So we will now then move to the manager's report.
Oh, I'm talking so much. Okay. So I just have one thing to report, and it's an interesting thing. It has to do with the traffic light at Federal Point, and I'm reminded by Carly Levine, who was such a staunch advocate for this. As you know, this has been going on for quite a while. We looked to provide a shared agreement with Ewing and Hopewell to address the concerns of Federal City Road at Federal Point and Bull Run Road. Not to belabor it, it ended up where Hopewell and Ewing opted out of our desire to install a light for Federal Point residents who are elderly and are having a difficult time getting in and out of their community from 295, people coming from 295 to Ewing and from Ewing there.
And the new development that is.
So we proceeded and we did design work. It was funded in the budget to do it. We submitted it to the New Jersey DOT. And part of the design of the light is on Hopewell land, because it's, the other side is I don't know the name of the.
Woodlawn.
Okay, yeah. So Hopewell has objected to our proposed plan because they want more improvements done. They want to add left turn lanes where our consultants and engineers felt it was not necessary to do. So obviously that increases our costs substantially. In the meantime, I received a call from Aaron Watson, who is the business administrator from Ewing, who described to me that there is a plan that's being considered for Bull Run Road that would include the acquisition of a portion of property and have a roundabout control the flow of Federal City Road. And I think that and I think you were involved in some of the meetings. Mr. Bob, they wanted us to participate. They want us to participate. It's a present tense. They want us to participate in that, and they want us to abandon the light at Federal Point because they believe that the roundabout will control and assist Federal Point residents from getting in and out because it'll stop the flow of traffic. It will not stop the. I'm not a traffic engineer, but the traffic coming from 295 will not be controlled by the roundabout. Okay, so Mr. Watson asked for township officials, myself, our engineer, to meet with business administrators and engineers of both Hopewell and Ewing to discuss this possible change in circumstances and a change in course. I will tell you that I firmly believe that our residents are best provided for with a traffic light at Federal Point to assist them in and out. I think that gives them the greatest sense of going in and out with safety. So I would be against abandoning that light at this late time. But I am certainly willing, if you so instruct, to meet with our Hopewell and Ewing to go through their plans. I just feel like traffic experts and consultants will provide opinions that will meet the needs of whoever
is paying them.
Whoever is paying them. I'm not going to disparage it, but what I'm saying is their traffic experts are saying,
one thing.
do this roundabout, and they'll all be provided for.
My only
I'm not
concern is
convinced by that.
because both projects would depend on DOT approval and participation.
We're through DOT already. We have advanced our project and we are through it. Now, there's going to be a fight with Hopewell, who should be sharing in this light that's that on the other side is more than 300 units. I mean, it seems clear to me that they should be sharing. So there's still going to be a continuation of a fight because I don't know if we want to incur the costs for these additional left and right-hand turns because Bull Run Road may eliminate that requirement if they do the roundabout. So my advocation is going to be, let us do the light as proposed. And if there's still issues after you guys do your thing down at Bull Run Road, then we'll address it at that time. But our people need relief. It's been going on for years, and I don't want to delay it.
But the key point you mentioned though is you need the participation of Hopewell even for our light, is that correct?
We need the participation. We need to advocate that our proposal is the right proposal. So they're not contributing to this level at this time.
I would say though, please do engage in the conversation.
Absolutely.
And report back to council.
Yeah.
Because it's being looked at as a collaboration, and I know the county is also involved in this project as well. So there may.
Yeah, Mayor, I will tell you that
If we are
this has been
further
going on
along.
for more than 2 years.
Okay, but if there are, just keep us abreast of how far we are in our process, like how far away are we from a light?
Well, our design work has been reviewed by the DOT, and Hopewell has now provided their opinions to the DOT. So we're not shoveling ground ready for sure at all. So I will absolutely continue the conversation. And I will reaffirm to all of you that Hopewell and Ewing are our partners in many ways. And we have shared services all along. This is an issue that we will view in a vacuum and continue to advocate for our residents.
I will say though, our roundabouts must be quite popular because we have more than, I think, other towns. We have at least 3 or 5 roundabouts in our town.
That roundabout
that are pretty successful.
won't be on Lawrence Township property. It'll impact the flow into Lawrence Township for sure.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that roundabout is wrong at all. It could be completely right, but does it do the best for our residents? And I'm not convinced that it will.
Keep us posted.
Mayor, can I ask the manager one question? I think I heard the answer, but I just want to be abundantly clear of that. Does either part of the intersection of Bull Run Road and Federal City Road include Lawrence Township, or is it simply Ewing and?
It's primarily Ewing and Hopewell. I don't want to go on the record saying Lawrence doesn't have a sliver in there, but I don't think it does.
I think we do.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, thank
I
you.
think we have a sliver. Okay. All right, Mr. Syed.
I have some matters we will discuss in closed session.
Thank you. And then Madam Clerk?
Just a few items here. We had the special school board election. It went fantastic.
Awesome.
Kudos to the county. They did a fantastic job.
Congrats to.
Yes, and I gave you a copy of the results, unofficial results. So we had it did pass with 2,641 yes and 1,790 no's. Okay. Also, let's see, the 24th is the deadline for the nominated petitions. 4 p.m. June 10th, I know it's a little ways away, but it's coming. That's the next election. They did extend the dates for early voting from 3 days to 6 days, just so you know. So that'll take place between June 3rd and June 8th. Financial disclosures, I am working on updating the rosters. You will be getting those very soon, as soon as I get the okay from the local finance board. And that is about it for my updates.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Very long, any unfinished business?
Mayor,
Yes, Councilman.
on the unfinished business, we have, for the deputy clerk, I like a motion to, put back the deputy clerk back on there and also add the NJ to it and the clerks association with it. We can put it on for another month.
That's the advertisement.
Correct.
So to advertise it in the League of Municipalities and
Right, it's
also the
New Jersey.
the original, and then add to, I believe you said the Clerks Association and the
the
NJ.com.
Municipal Clerks
Yeah.
Association in New Jersey.
Right.
Mayor, can I ask a question?
Yes, Councilman.
Have we received any further applications, or is it just sort of been quiet since that initial round?
Well, the deadline passed. So we
The
have-
deadline did pass, but you did receive one today, and
Okay.
I actually, meant to get that to you today. But you did, one did come.
Oh, okay. Any new business?
Mayor?
Oh, yes, go ahead, Councilman.
Oh, I'm sorry. On the new business, I believe that, also we can add, Art. I sent out an email to you last Wednesday, I believe, and I think you were a little off the rails a little bit. I spoke to you today about the clerk's position.
Yes, that was
We received an email from the manager today that, we were a little late, but we did send it out. I sent it out to you on that, to see if you could look at it,
Yeah, I'm reviewing that, and there is some
so we can get that out.
changes on that, yes.
Okay.
Mayor, may I ask may I ask Councilman Ryan what exactly he's, this is new, so I'm
No,
just
after-
trying to
after the-
understand what's going on.
Councilman Mobley, what happened was after, Madam Clerk, well, I was blind, I had no idea, of her resignation,
Retirement, yes?
First of all,
or-
it
or
wasn't a resignation,
retirement,
letter of retirement.
which is well deserved, I can tell you that right now.
Yes, it is.
The position is open. So I just Googled it and said, Art, this is on the New Jersey League of Municipalities, can you look into this? And just send us something back so we can get it going. That's it, no vote, no.
No,
If I could just,
Mayor,
I would just like to make a motion to table this item for now, and we'll discuss it.
Is there a second?
Is there a second?
Second.
Do we could call the roll?
Mr. Bobbitt,
yes.
Mr. Kanaki,
Yes.
Ms. Perry,
Yes.
Mr. Ryan,
Yes.
and Mayor Palmer.
Yes, thank you. Okay, this brings us to the second opportunity for public participation at a 3-minute limit. 3 minutes, Mr. Burke.
3 minutes is all you're gonna give me, huh? Just hold on a few seconds.
Mhm.
Let me hand you a few things. There's only one of these, but if you can get that to the mayor. And then these, and also,
Is this for one for each? Okay.
I guess it's for the mayor.
I guess you're gonna just give it to her. I don't know how many's there. And then you guys see if there's more. Okay. And how do you guys want?
It's yours.
That's the only copy, Mayor.
That's the only one. Thank you.
So 3 minutes.
You're the mayor.
You get all this other chat off to Mr. Bird. Thank you. Go ahead.
okay?
Yep.
All right, thank you. Jim Bird, Hopewell Township. As I said, I was former mayor in Hopewell Township, and we too had situations of just concentrating on Hopewell Township, but this is where we talk about the entire state of New Jersey with the affordable housing. And what we've done was put together a letter that we've sent to Senator Singleton, to Senator Turner, Assemblyman Borelli, Assembly Reynolds Jackson, the President of the Senate, the Assembly Speaker, and the Governor. And what it basically is saying is it's time to say yes to the bill S 4065 in order to make it work favorably for the people who are in need of affordable housing, but it's also very favorable for the taxpayers. Because as I said, if you look at what your taxes are and how they've climbed, it will continue to be that way. But this starts to slow things down to a degree that would be very advantageous. We also got a reply from Senator Turner, and it always makes it important to me to realize that there's a big difference between government and politics. And when you read the information from Senator Turner, you'll find that politics comes through on this considerably. But the very important factor is there's no way that this will pass unless both parties approve of this bill. What I'd suggest, as I said, jim.burt@gmail.com. I will send you all this information. I've also given you information here in regards to the bill itself. If you have the time, just go online to New Jersey, state of New Jersey for S4065 in order to understand exactly what we're talking about. But the very important thing is you, as well as the people here at the council, have to be the people that step up and make a positive step for the affordable housing so it can be advantageous for all parties in the state. And if you have any questions, I'll be here. Please feel free to ask. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, I have a question.
Yeah.
Mr. Burr,
Yes,
can you get back up there for a second?
certainly.
One of my functions is the Director of Affordable Housing. And I will tell you that Lawrence Township has always been at the forefront of meeting the obligations.
So
of
is Hopewell
affordable housing.
Township.
But and I have not reviewed this at all, but I want, if you could, just briefly answer two questions of mine. The first question is, how does it impact property taxes? Like
How does it affect
like
property tax?
reducing
No problem.
affordable housing?
Right.
How
And the
does that?
reason being is this. The very important thing is in 1985, because from 1975, when affordable housing came into existence, until 1985, every municipality in New Jersey sidestepped it. In 1985, they came out with the builder's remedy. And the builder's remedy was very interesting because they said, okay, if COA, which is Council on Affordable Housing, if the municipalities did not meet the criteria of COA, that's when the developer would come in, purchase property, and then put in affordable housing. But what his affordable housing was, fine, but it was only 20%. And it was only 20%, but the other side of it was 80% of market value homes. And I don't know about you, but I know Lawrence pretty well too. And I know every municipality throughout New Jersey. And everybody had to probably put up a new elementary school, at least Hopewell Township. We also had to increase the size of existing schools as well as the high
You're
school.
talking building infrastructure to handle the
You're
influx
talking
of families coming in.
infrastructure, that whole thing.
And so the second question I
Sure.
have is this: Does this bill stop or give any leverage to a township to stop builders coming in to build 350 houses? Or is it giving them the advantage of building 350 houses and not have to worry about providing housing to people that would qualify under affordable housing? Does it do any
I don't understand
restriction?
what you're saying.
What I'm saying is, the builder comes into our town,
Right.
and we've now reduced the obligation,
Sure.
you win, you're advocating, and now all of a sudden our obligation is greatly reduced. It doesn't stop building from
Correct.
happening,
No,
right?
it
It's
doesn't.
just, it gives
It
more,
declines
gives
the-
more money to the builders to build and sell at market rate, right? Is that fair?
No, that's
I
not
think
it
it's
at all.
okay.
Because what it is if you now have, I think, we said 70 affordable housing units.
Yeah, we have 330 is our obligation, which,
Right.
you know,
So
doesn't
that's,
scare. it
so
should-
that's 20%.
Yeah.
So what is 80%?
20% of what?
20% of the 300.
So if somebody's building 100 units, we have an ordinance that says 20% must be set aside for affordable housing.
Correct.
Instead
So-
of at full market value.
And so what are you asking?
Well, no, what it seems to me, I think the builders are in this a little bit.
No.
I'm just saying, like, it just seems to me that
The
we're
builders-
paving the way for more market rate housing
No,
to come in.
no,
And the
that's-
benefit is gonna be for
That's
builders
not it at all.
as opposed to the people who may
No.
qualify for affordable housing
No.
and can't. That's all.
It doesn't have that effect. It doesn't have that effect.
Well, thank you for
But-
coming here and.
Yeah, as I say, feel free to ask me anytime. I used to be on the planning board in Hopewell Township too. So thank you for your time. Anybody else have any other questions? Please get in touch with your people of the state of New Jersey for this.
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry, and I'll give you all the information.
Come on.
Can you just do it right here?
Yeah, because we need the microphone.
This way, Tom. Tom,
Other way.
That's a big walk.
Okay, hello.
On behalf of the Friends of Corning Lake Park and all of our neighbors, we want to thank you for the resolution you passed earlier this evening regarding the longevity of the trees. We appreciate it. Thank you for thinking.
Okay, thank you.
Resolution.
I'll be quick, but since I gave such a harangue earlier, I do feel I should thank you for
well, I'll time
that
him there.
resolution. Time,
I'll time him there.
our work, I don't want to say unfortunately because it's so positive, but I won't say unfortunately, I'll just say as a matter of fact, our work is not done because we've got to get else to move its line. But this is going to be a tremendous help. Senator Turner has said in writing and in person, get this from you guys, and she's happy to put a shoulder to the wheel as she often does. And with the state bureaucracy, we didn't want to try to do Green Acres ourselves. Tremendously helpful, and then maybe the commissioners will jump on board, and maybe also will jump on board too, and then the right thing will happen. And I really appreciate everybody's attention to it. I appreciate you walking it there. And the town has been great and responsive, and the council and the management. And we really appreciate the manager as well. All right, thanks so much.
Thank you for your advocacy. With that, we will close public participation. And moving on to our resolutions.
Mayor, if there are no objections, I'd like to move 18A1 through H5 in block.
Well, you got more to say, like, did we have one? Did we have one?
Yeah,
We did that.
You added one,
Yeah, so you got to.
so that would be
H6.
H6.
My apologies, I withdraw that and I'll start over. If there are no objections, hearing objections before, so I will revise. I'd like to move 18A1 through H6 in the block.
I have a question. You have a second? Okay.
No question.
You need a second, Mayor.
Second first,
I second.
and now I have a question. Number 4, authorizing appointment to the senior executive committee. Should we do that there, or should we do it
No, it's done correctly.
in there?
We do those ones like when, at the beginning of the year, because we have so many, when you do them individually.
Okay,
But that's just one resolution, and one person.
keep it in the miscellaneous then, okay. And then it goes to liaison reports, all right? That was my question. And now we could call the roll, please.
Mr. Bobbitt,
Yes.
Mr. Kaneki,
Yes.
Ms. Perry,
Yes.
Mr. Ryan,
Yes.
Mayor Fox.
Yes. Okay, now we're on to the council initiatives and liaison reports. Who'd like to go first?
May I?
Yes.
Thanks. I just want to publicly acknowledge the work that the Environmental Green Advisory Committee did this Saturday. They were at Glen Avenue doing a stream bank restoration. They had over 20 people there on a kind of gloomy day. I see Ms. Kopis, she was there. We had a lovely conversation afterwards. I still am thinking about some of the things you said, so don't worry. But it was great to see families, young and old, kids, driving in rebar into the stream bed and then planting stakes. That's to help slow down soil erosion, which would then impact, lessen the amount of silt that would go into Colonial Lake. They had Dr. Chris Ogroba, doctor from Rutgers, who sort of guided the process. It was just a really talk about community. It was a really great feeling to start that day. And then I went to St. Baldrick's later. And so again, just feeling the Lawrence love on last Saturday. So I just wanted to do a big shout for that.
All right.
Thanks.
Okay. Madam Mayor, I'd like to
Yes.
give an update of the Growth and Redevelopment Committee. So I'm happy to announce that, forgive me, it's on my phone. The Growth and Redevelopment Committee will be holding a small business networking event on April 30th from 5:30 to 7 o'clock at the Lawrence Library. The purpose of this event is to share best practices, to help other businesses, and also to network to see if there's any synergy. So we are looking for speakers and looking forward to continuing the strength of small businesses in Lawrence. And then also, I would like to give an update on the Public Safety Subcommittee. We received 7 proposals for our RFP, and what we have been doing in the last almost 2 months is reviewing them based on a in-depth rubrics, which we're looking to make sure that the process is comprehensive and to ensure that all the information that was presented to us meets the minimum of the RFP. But just for you to have some information of how the process is moving along, we're looking at the depth and breadth of knowledge and experience of the consulting firms, including their current local projects. We're looking at the proposal in the presentation and the content. We're looking at the project understanding that the proposals have outlined. Also, the team that the consultants have to go forward and do the project. Looking at the professional qualifications of the consultants, the scope of an analysis of the detailed project. Do they really understand and have they outlined what we had requested? Which, just to remind you, the RFP was to study the feasibility of centralization and or consolidating the Township Fire Emergency Services, and what is the best model for Lawrence Township. The last few things that we are reviewing is also the project timeline, what they proposed, and the budget and the cost. So our target is to, at the last meeting of April, to come back with clear recommendations to propose to council on the different consultants that have presented to us. And we will make a outline so that you could see, based on the rubrics, how many stars did they get? And that will help you understand how we really have been digging through this. And we thank you for your patience and your time because we want to make sure we get it correct. So our target is April. If there's a hiccup or something comes up, we will definitely let you know because this is too important to rush. And most of them are at least 50 pages. Thank you.
Any other? Yeah, okay. Give an update on the master plan. The planning board met, last night, and the planner indicated that, she's in the process of finalizing the documents to, do the actual formal written report, which is expected to be completed, at the beginning, of the, I guess by June, or so, I think is what she said. All of the stakeholder meetings have been completed. The subcommittee, shared some input, on the planning board. They're mapping out various conditions, and the recommendations and ideas are scheduled to have a preliminary drafting for the public, to hear and have some more input. Let's see. On March 25th, and I guess this is work with the DEI committee, there will be an unveiling on Louisville Road for the Louisville Road marker. And that will take place on March 25th at 4 p.m. on Louisville Road on the campus of the Lawrenceville School. So all are welcome to come to that event. Let's see what else. And also Trails and Open Space, and just read some of their, was I just missed it? Two of the things that they're looking at, Trails and Open Spaces, asking the council to consider a resolution, asking, what was that? Asking to perhaps consider, the township owned lots, the Trenton lots, to be added to the Rossi. And also looking, I don't know if I said that correctly, the Trails and Open Space Committee is interested in a resolution asking the township to add to the township owned lots, Trenton lots, to the Rossi. And they gave a draft of the resolution. And also they are asking for walk and to review the Princess Road DNR Canal Connector and suggesting a walk through the route to take a look at the half mile between the, I think the Amazon warehouse that is close to the Clarksville Road. And they're looking to review the DNR Canal Princess Road as a possible trail. And I think that's it. Any additional? Or? Alright. Well, that makes sense. That makes sense, but they're looking to do the resolution one to consider the cherry area, and also the one of the things they're asking Mr. Nowinski, the Amazon, there was a bypass through the Amazon and the DNR canal. Are you familiar with that?
Not really.
Okay. So they're looking to, for some improvements in that area. And we're wondering if the Trails and Open Space Committee were to do a walk through there, if they needed to ask permission to the owner.
Yeah, if it's on Amazon property, we should probably do that.
Okay, because I guess there was some sort of easement or relationship that
I'll
was.
check into it for you.
Okay, perfect.
Mayor, could I just ask, all that sounds very interesting, and I would love to see sort of the recommendations. So if you could forward it on to the clerk to forward to all of us, that would be incredible, because I heard, you know, I know Mr. Larson has spoken to me about that easement in the past, you know, other things all sound really great, and so I'd just love to read what they say, so thank you.
Absolutely. All right, I think I got everything there. Planning board. Okay. All right. This will now bring us to number 20, written communications. Do you have any? Okay. All right, thank you all for coming out this evening. We will now be entering into our executive session. Appreciate everyone who came out this beautiful beginning of spring day.
Motion to go into executive session.
Is there a motion?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
I agree.